A very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests, panel speakers, and live stream viewers from across the country for Session 3, the finale of the MMA SCHOMOS Virtual Forum 2021. I'm Hari from MMA Sabah branch.
And I'm Senthil from MMA Sabah branch as well. So this is the final episode of a 3-part virtual dialogue series between all government doctors in the country and the Ministry of Health. Today we'll be discussing core topics such as promotion criteria, resignation and early retirement, EPF and the pension schemes, and 3 more important topics, which are Locum, the full paying patient scheme, and the specialist Flexi day scheme. We'll now put up the slides for the sessions that we have covered over the last 2 weeks as well. This forum basically is a platform for you to get your question answered by the policymakers and administrators themselves. And it's proudly brought to you by none other than the largest voice for doctors in the country, the Malaysian Medical Association.
For those who are joining us for the first time, this forum was conducted as a 3-part series over the last 3 consecutive Sunday afternoons. All recordings are available on our MMA SCHOMOS Facebook page and the MMA YouTube page. Let me just share the links with you. As you can see on the ticker below, this is where you can watch our replays on the Facebook MMA SCHOMOS or the YouTube. Type Malaysian Medical Association. So if you missed the previous sessions, you can always watch the replays anytime. We will be sending out slides and materials shared by our speakers to all our viewers who have registered for the forum. So if you'd like to join our mailing list, please register your details at bit.ly/SCHOMOS forum. So this is the link for those who wish to join our mailing list so that we can share more information with you. Now, Senthil, we would like to engage with the viewers and make this an interactive session.
Okay.
We will be using the AHA Slides platform for live polling, so please scan the QR code or the access links given. So, you can
AHA Slides, ahaslides.com/MSVF.
So look at the QR code at the top right corner and you can access the AHA Slides. So let's take a few test polls.
Yep. Shall we test out the system again?
Just a few.
For the 3rd consecutive week?
Yep. Just a few warm-up questions just to see if you can get hold or get a hang of the AHA Slides platform. Again, let's look at our demographics of our viewers. So how old are you? So this platform allows us to look at our live feedback from our viewers. So at the moment, we have about 70 live viewers, and I'm sure the numbers will increase over time. So let's look at the general demography. Because Senthil, the last few forums, the topics are perhaps more relevant to the medical officers, especially the contract medical officers, the house officers, medical students, and medical graduates, as we're talking about contract doctors, right? Whereas this particular session, a lot more specialists and consultants have expressed their interest because we're talking about promotion criteria, resignation, early retirement, EPF versus pension schemes, or even doing locum as well. So you can see the shift in demography for this particular forum.
But even with us discussing more specialist-related topics today, looking at the polls, the highest is still 20 to 30, which tells us that majority of our viewers today want to become specialists and find that this forum may be useful to them in the future. Or does it mean that our specialists are getting younger by the day? Must be one of the two.
You're right on. Okay, let's go to the next question. So which state are you currently working in? So this is a word cloud. So let's look at where the majority of our viewers are from. Starting off with Malacca, Sabah. Only 2 states.
Okay, we have only 8 people or 9 people who've answered, with 29 people on AHA Slides. For the rest of you all who are watching, I think we have about 68 live viewers at the moment. Can you all log in to ahaslides.com/MSVF and participate? This will be the same forum for you to ask us questions so that we can pose these questions for the administrators to answer later.
Sunday, it looks like our majority of viewers are from Sabah. Sabah suddenly stands out compared to the rest of the country.
Must be all the promotion and marketing you've been doing over the last 3 weeks. Okay, Negeri Sembilan, Selangor. I think last round we had Selangor on second place. But now seems like Selangor is somewhere far at the back.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So why did you choose to attend this forum? Is it to get updates on latest info or to clarify policy matters from JKN and MOH? Or is it to enjoy the membership promo gifts?
Yeah.
Senthil, you don't know that for the membership promotion, we do have personalized scrubs for those signing up for live membership, as well as a 2 terabyte USB drive for those signing up for ordinary membership.
Really? Personalized, you mean it comes with like my name on it?
Yeah, your name, and there'll also be the MMA logo as well.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And did I hear you right? Did you say 2 terabyte, not 2 gigabyte?
No. It's 2 terabyte. So it's probably the biggest in the market for a thumb drive.
You mean biggest capacity but smallest thumb drive?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's nice and small, so very cute looking thumb drive. So it looks like the membership promo gifts were never the main reason why our audience are here today.
Yep.
So that's good to know. You do not need perks to get you going, right? So let's look at your current designation. So who are viewers today? Are they majority medical students, graduates, house officers,
Wow.
MOs, or are they all specialists and consultants?
So it's definitely the majority are medical officers from the permanent post cohort. Then next up we have the specialists and consultants who are catching up. Okay, we also do have 4% of house officers who are viewing us live today. We hope more of you all can participate in the AHA slides, so we'll get a better picture of the demographics we have today.
Okay, Sindil, a few housekeeping announcements for our viewers. Before we introduce the next speaker, please put up your questions for live Q&A on the AHA Slides platform instead of the Facebook or YouTube platform. You can do this anytime during the forum, and you can view questions listed by others as well. This will allow us to group and rank the questions according to popularity. For those signing up for the membership promo, please note that there will be a QR code and a unique link to a Google form that will appear at random for proof of attendance. So don't miss that.
Just like in medical school, they randomly take attendance to make sure everybody is around. Okay, with that, let's move on. I'd like to invite Dr. Vijay Ganesan, our National SCHOMOS Chairman for the year 2020-2021. He's also a psychiatrist currently practicing at Hospital Umum Sarawak, Kuching. He is a high achiever who always tries to outdo himself and has been successful in doing so each time. Some of you would have known him since medical school and would definitely know that he was the Malaysian student president when he was in medical school. He was then the SCHOMOS Sarawak chairman and continued on to hold various posts in the National SCHOMOS and is today our National SCHOMOS chairman. We now cordially invite Dr. Vijay Ganesan to introduce MMA and SCHOMOS to all of us today.
Thank you, Sendil and Hari. Thanks for the kind introduction. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Vijay.
Okay, perfect. Now, first and foremost, I must thank the organizing committee, MMA Sabah personally, which includes both our moderators, Dr. Hari and Dr. Senthil. It's been probably the third week that you all are hearing me speak again and again, and I won't bore you all with the same topic. Last week we spoke about things that how the health ministry can help us with the blessing of and officiating from our Minister of Health who came for a function on session 2. Now session 3 has a lot to do with a lot of things to do with the EPF pension, also about specialists, and I would like to take the opportunity to also ask you all to listen to the medical indemnity part, because I think these are things which are important. In fact, until now we have some doctors who do not have medical indemnity, and trust me, being in the government service does not mean you do not need medical indemnity. You can be sued via various ways. In fact, on a personal basis, instead of suing the hospital, any individual is able to do so. So do not forget that medical indemnity is sort of a requirement. It may not be a requirement stated, but it's really important for you all to have your medical indemnity. And do not forget that certain companies also provide legal advice, if not following you all to court if needed to. So that's something that I think has to be taken away from here. And I've not really spoken much about membership over the past two sessions, session 1 and session 2, because we've always had a membership drive. But here I am in the final session. Now, MMA Sabah, our moderators, our whole team, our whole organizing committee, in fact, the whole of National SCHOMOS has put in a lot of effort into this virtual forum. Now, forget the expense of this virtual forum, but the time we have actually put in just to have questions answered, just to have a lot of doubts answered has taken a toll on all of us. Now, none of us are paid for this. None of us are actually receiving any honorarium or anything at all for this whole virtual forum. Now, why we do it is because SCHOMOS, as it says, stands for Section Concerning House Officers, Medical Officers, and Specialists. Now, when we all took the post of whichever post we are sitting in, we knew that we were accountable for it, meaning we don't just sleepwalk through life, but instead we are actually accountable to all our members. Okay, and like I said, benefits for us is close to none. But what we want to do is we want the whole of Malaysian doctors to realize that there is an association for them, which is a Malaysian Medical Association, and we will continue fighting. Now, a lot of people may think that, what can the association do for us? Association is very slow. Why not we speed up and back up? Why not we, look at things as protests and everything and all that? Yes, I mean, these are different views and different ways of the way of people look at things. But at the same time, we need to understand that we as doctors, we cannot run away from our role, number one. And number two, we need to understand that we are in a position where patients' lives come first. Okay, then comes all the other matters. Now, as an association, we need numbers. We are not going to achieve anything without numbers. And in fact, it was mentioned clearly on the last session 2, that we only constitute about 20 to 25% of doctors. What happened to the 70% of doctors which were once our members? Have the newer groups deserted us, and what is the reason? These are things that we'd like to know as well, because having a very low percentage of membership also means that our voice is getting weaker and weaker. Now, as you can see, even last week, we just had an announcement of how for the past 2 to 3 years, we've been fighting for the incentive for specialist allowance in those serving Sabah and Sarawak for the public health. And after years of fighting, we managed to get it. Now, let us not forget that even previously, the on-call allowances and everything else that came with it was years of fighting. And at the same time, we did this with numbers. Now, as we lose our numbers, trust me, the voice of doctors is getting weaker and weaker. Now, we need to back up. We need to create a change. We often ask, what do I get if I become a member? Now, my say to you all, my take on this is, be a member and then tell us that what we can do for you. Look at it in another way, because really without members, we can't do much. We are already pushing ourselves to the limits. And yes, 150 ringgit may seem like something which is expensive. 2,500 for a life membership may seem something which is expensive, but 150 ringgit adds up to less than how much you would spend in McD in a single meal, or maybe go out to Starbucks for a single coffee. How often do we have all of that? And when you times it by 12, a single coffee at Starbucks times by 12 is more than the membership fee that you are looking at. So once again, I urge all doctors, now we need to back up. We need to back up. We need to join together. We need to be strong once again. And this is something that I've been hoping for, that we increase in numbers of membership. We will have a membership drive later on as well in the program. Let us know how we can also help you out and how we can also improve things. And before I end, my speech. Hope that everyone stays safe. We hope that things get back to normal soon. I think a lot have been vaccinated already on the second dose for the phase 1, and we hope things get back to normal days where we can actually meet physically. Of course, this virtual forum is the first, but we hope that this can continue. But at the same time, let us try to meet physically once again when things get back to normal. Now, I hope for a healthy Malaysian nation, and at the same time, those who have not become members yet, please sign up as members as soon as possible. And if you all have any queries, any doubts, the link for AHA slides have been put in. So kindly type your questions there and we will look into it. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hari, Dr. Sidil, back to you all.
Thank you, Vijay. And you definitely look more handsome after the second dose of Pfizer vaccination. So so let's just continue to watch a short video by SCHOMOS explaining the success stories and SCHOMOS achievements in the past before we move on.
All right, that's the role of SCHOMOS in a nutshell. So for the non-members out there, this is the time to sign up and let your voice be heard. The last 2 weeks, we were deeply immersed in the benefits of palm oil, so much so that Sendil has now takes palm oil bath every morning.
Yep. Explains the shiny skin. Can you all see that?
The sponsor for this week's forum is Sunway Medical Center Velocity. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy this short video on the SMC Velocity and the service they provide.
Welcome to Sunway Medical Center Velocity, your multi-specialty tertiary healthcare provider. As one of our core specialties, our women's health offers a range of obstetrics and gynecological services to help women manage their health care, from family planning services, prenatal support to postnatal care, as well as mother and baby wellness. Every parent wants the best for their children. That's why we take a holistic approach to the health of the little ones. Our pediatricians are here to help parents manage the different medical needs of their children at every stage of their lives by evaluating physical milestones, behavioral development, and providing regular health assessments and vaccinations. Health begins with the right preventive care. At our Health Screening Center, we can assess your health status and help you manage potential health risks by offering screening packages to suit your every need. With heart health being one of our specialties, we have a cardiovascular unit that supports you with a comprehensive range of cardiac care, from early to late stages of detection to diagnosis and treatment. This one-stop center is led by a dedicated team of specialists with support staff across various disciplines and equipped with state-of-the-art equipment like the 24-hour catheterization lab. Our neurology department is supported by the best that technology can offer, with a range of imaging services using cutting-edge equipment such as the 3D MRI scanner and the stereotactic image-guided surgical systems. For added convenience, we are digitally equipped with cyber capabilities where patients can review their radiology report online and make bookings anytime with our 24-hour online appointment service. At Sunway Medical Center Velocity, our team of specialists and medical professionals are always there for our patients. They are dedicated to delivering quality health management together with compassionate patient care. In the case of an emergency, our accident and emergency department is available round the clock, with emergency specialists and surgeons on call any time of the day or night to attend to any urgent medical needs. Here with you every step of the way in life. Sunway Medical Center Velocity, your preferred hospital for complete healthcare solutions under one roof. In the integrated township of Sunway Velocity.
Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Wee Tong Ming, Consultant Emergency Physician and Medical Director, to share with us about the services and opportunities at the SMC Velocity. Dr. Wee obtained his undergraduate degree from University Malaya in 2003, followed by his master's degree in emergency medicine from University of Malaya in 2011. He has vast experience as an instructor in many life support courses. He's actively involved in pre-hospital care and ambulance services during his tenure at Malaysian Ministry of Health Hospitals, and completed his attachment under UPAC, Unit of Pre-Hospital and Emergency Care in Singapore, under the ASEAN EMS program. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Wee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Hari and the organizing committee. Can you all hear me?
Hear you loud and clear?
Okay, thank you. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to introduce my current workplace, Sunway Medical Velocity. So give me a moment to share the screen. Okay, so this is my slides. Can you all see? Okay.
Yes, we can see our slides.
Okay, thank you. So without further ado, let me just start with my presentation. So basically, this is just to introduce my current practice place, Sunway Medical Velocity in Cheras, in KL. So for those who are familiar in this area, Velocity, so this is actually an integrated township with the hotels, the college, and the mall especially, So we are one of the latest addition in the township. and we actually started operational in 2019 September. And the video you've seen is actually before COVID. That's why you can see people shaking hands, etc. Well, after this pandemic, this is not what we do now. Yeah, okay. So let me show you the slides. This is myself as an emergency physician and medical director here. So you can see this building is actually it's a 10-story structure, and it's currently 240 bedded capacity, and we have a total capacity of 77 specialist clinic. Yeah, okay. So we have numbers of resident consultants plus visiting consultants. Yeah, okay. So it's actually quite near, 3.8 km to KL City Centre, and it's very near to two government hospital, Hospital Kuala Lumpur and HUKM, within 10-15 minutes distance only. Yeah, okay. So this is the overview. We start functional since 3rd of September, and we have 240 beds, 1 cath lab, yeah, and we have dialysis bay, and we have chemo daycare as well with our resident and visiting oncologists. Yeah, and we have operations theatre, ICU beds, etc. Yeah, we have the scope room also for our gastros. Yeah, and as you've seen in the video, being a part of a new hospital, of course we have to get the new toys. So we have 250 slice CT scan. So this offer a very good image, especially for the cardiac CT. Yeah, and the 3 Tesla MRI. So which offer the imaging, yeah, superior imaging, and the rest, I think, BMD, digital mammography, and ultrasound, etc. And just to have give an introduction to the multi-specialty, we have our resident anesthetists, we have our cardiologists, 24 hours cath lab services, and emergency medicine, of course. Then our ENT, general surgery, and we have our resident gastros. For internal medicines, we have most of the subspecialty, gastro, nephro, endocrine, skin, yeah, derms, etc., respi as well. Yeah, and for neurology, we actually have a neurologist and neurosurgeon. Yeah, and we do have the stroke thrombolysis program running. Yeah, and our ONG. Yeah, and we do have resident and visiting ONG, including some subspecialty like maternal fetal, gynae onco, etc. Yeah. For ophthalmology, we have our PIS ophthalmology and neuro-ophthalmology, and our orthopedic, pediatric, psychiatry, and etc. Yeah. Okay. And we have our resident urologists as well, including cardiothoracic and vascular visiting consultants. Yeah. So as a tertiary center. So this is just a summary of what has been mentioned, and this is you can see the pictures here is our emergency department. Yeah. And our OPD department and our health screening center. I think health screening center is an important part to maintain do a screening, yeah, maintain a healthy lifestyle, yeah, okay. And this is just pictures of the services, yeah. This is our cath lab, yeah, and BMD, and followed by the picture of our digital X-ray and our CT scan, yeah, 256 slice, and above the ceiling you can see a nice view where we do a CT scan, yeah. And there's a 3D mammogram and 3 Tesla MRI. You can see on the ceiling. So there's a nice view there. You can see the galaxy while doing the scan. And then the stress test, ECG room, dialysis bay, and OT. Yeah, okay. So this is just a capture. For the emergency, as usual, we have the triage center, resus, red, yellow, green, etc. Yeah, okay. So I know we are all affected by this pandemic, yeah. So all the operation have to have their own SOP. So inside of the emergency department, we actually have a isolation room with negative pressure inside the emergency department. This is a built-in one, yeah, since our hospital started operational. So during this pandemic, we also add on another one, isolation cabin. This is also some collaboration with other engineers to build out this what we call isolation cabin. Basically, this is placed outside the hospital, yeah? And there is a negative pressure here so that we can place the patient, suspicious patient, inside this cabin with negative pressure. This is just to safeguard the patient and the staff of this hospital. So I think during this pandemic, there's a lot of innovation going on, yeah, and we have a lot of SOP, same as many other hospitals, yeah, okay. So if you see a container structure outside here, it's actually the isolation cabin, and there's a negative pressure built in inside. Yeah? Okay. So these are some of the features and of course our many SOPs, because during this pandemic, actually there's a lot of collaboration between the public and the private sector. So for example, during the many phases of the pandemic, there's a decanting of non-COVID patient, and after late, I think not too long ago, there was discussion, and actually there's for the private center to manage their own COVID cases and etc. And there's also a lot of collaboration program ongoing or in discussion between the government and the private sector. So this pandemic has actually we have unprecedented cooperation between the private and government center, which is a good thing. Okay. And this is just to show a clearer picture of all the facilities. And our cath lab is actually 24 hours functional. Okay. So this is basically we have relatively new hospital 2019. Okay. So maybe some of you have heard of us and some of you may not. So basically we are in the township again, Velocity Township. So if you are interested to have a tour, or you have further inquiry, so you can, this is the numbers to contact, the email address here, the general inquiry, SNCV inquiry, or you have any further questions you want to know about the services, you can contact the email shown here or the number shown here. Okay. So that's all from me. Okay, so if we have times, maybe are we open to Q&A? Thanks, Dr. Hari and organizing committee.
Thank you, Dr. Wee, for the talk on Sunway Medical Center Velocity and the services it provides. Next up, let's continue on with the most awaited part of this forum, the question-answer dialogue session with our invited panel of experts. So today, we have an expert panelist of 3 people. Firstly, we have Dr. Sharom binti Ismail. You would have met her last week on our forum. The Timbalan Pengarah, grade UD 54 from Cawangan Pembangunan Profesional Perubatan under Bahagian Perkembangan Perubatan, Ministry of Health. Next, we have Encik Wan Ahmad Hilman bin Wan Adam, Timbalan Setiausaha Bahagian grade M54 from Bahagian Sumber Manusia, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. And last but not least, we have Puan Noriza binti Kasim, Timbalan Setiausaha Bahagian M54 from Bahagian Sumber Manusia, KKM. Welcome to all of you. So today's interactive dialogue session will be similar to the last 2 weeks. It will be a rapid fire session where we will throw questions and we will go in a rapid speed of question and answer series. We will project the relevant slides given to us by KKM when we ask the relevant questions. With that, shall we start off, Hari?
Yep. Just one moment. Let's prepare the slides in the background. Okay, shall we?
Yep, we shall. The first question here, I think this is just a recap. This question was also asked last week. So I intend to resign from government service. What are the procedures involved? How is it different between contract and non-contract doctors? Can I ask one of the representatives from Bahagian Sumber Manusia? Puan Noriza?
Yeah. Dr. Hello everyone. Dr. Hari, Dr. Sentil, and other panelists, and the rest. Okay. Noriza here. I'm from Bahagian Sumber Manusia, MOH. Okay. With regards to the questions, kaedah peletakan jawatan antara pegawai perubatan kontrak dan tetap. Okay. Basically, there is no difference between contract or tetap in terms of resignation. The process is the same. Urusan peletakan jawatan adalah sama bagi pegawai lantikan tetap dan lantikan kontrak. Okay. Kita berdasarkan kepada perkeliling perkhidmatan yang dikeluarkan oleh JPA bilangan 1 2015. dan Kementerian Kesihatan juga telah mengeluarkan satu surat berkeliling KSU bilangan 4 2020 ya, yang juga menyenaraikan ya bagaimana untuk meletakkan jawatan. Okey. Basically seseorang pegawai itu perlu mengemukakan 30 hari notis peletakan jawatan ataupun sebulan gaji ya, 1 month gaji pokok basic salary in lieu of notice, okay, kepada ketua jabatan. Okay.
Alright, Puan Noriza. So they will need to give 30 days notice. If they fail to do so, they will need to return 1 month's salary. But once they've given the notice, are they allowed to finish up their leaves if they have more than 30 days leave?
Okay, if they have any paid leave, they can always minus their leave. Okay, so they can have the 30 days. So whatever balance, they are required to fulfill the 30 days notice. Yeah, in lieu of 30 days notice, they have to pay for 1 month basic pay. Okay, so just to add to this, okay, notice of resignation does not need any approval. Okay. They have to notify ketua jabatan, and ketua jabatan ada standard format lah untuk ambil maklum. Okay. Dalam kita punya SPKSU 4 2020 ada pun contoh macam mana nak kemukakan surat peletakan jawatan dan pemakluman oleh ketua jabatan. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, moving on to the next question. This will be to Encik Wan Hilman. What are the criteria for promotion for a medical officer and as well for a specialist?
We go to the next slide. Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you Mr. Sentil, Mr. Haril, Dr. Shahrul and all the SCHOMOS members. Untuk kenaikan pangkat bagi pegawai perubatan sebenarnya ada satu kaedah sahaja untuk grade di peringkat pengurusan dan profesional from 34 to 56. Dia telah dimulai pada tahun 2010 dan pada tahun 2017 kita mulai ada layer baru iaitu grade 56 untuk kepakaran. Bagi time base ini ada dua laluan sebenarnya. Yang pertama sekali adalah laluan kepakaran, yang kedua adalah laluan normal track. Bagi laluan kepakaran formulanya adalah 2-3-2-2-5. 2-3-2-2-5 dia tahun setiap tahun. Manakala bagi normal track adalah 2-3-4-3, yang mana bagi laluan kepakaran untuk sampai ke grade 54 at least dia dapat sampai dalam tempoh 9 tahun. Itu adalah jika smooth. Manakala bagi laluan MO non specialist adalah 12 tahun jika dia smooth. Manakala untuk sampai ke grade 56 bagi kepakaran dia perlukan tambahan additional 5 tahun lagi. Kumulatifnya adalah 14 tahun keseluruhan. Okey, untuk syarat umum, previous slide please. Okey, untuk syarat umum, ini adalah syarat umum untuk kenaikan pangkat secara time base. Yang pertama sekali adalah mesti disahkan dalam perkhidmatan. Itu mesti live dengan SPA, ditetapkan oleh SPA. Mencapai tahap prestasi yang ditetapkan iaitu 80% 80% LMPT untuk 3 tahun except for to grade 54. 54 dia cuma perlukan 2 tahun sahaja LMPT. Dan dia hendaklah dipakukan oleh ketua jabatan, bebas daripada hukuman tertutup, isytiharta, bebas daripada SPRM case dan tidak dalam senarai peminjam tegar pendidikan dan juga lain-lain syarat yang ditetapkan oleh lembaga. Cuma saya ingin menarik perhatian bagi syarat lain yang ditetapkan oleh lembaga, ruling lembaga pada mulai tahun 2017, mana-mana pegawai yang ada kes rekod tidak hadir bertugas ataupun lain-lain kes yang dalam proses untuk tata tertib, lembaga memutuskan supaya pertimbangan kenaikan pangkat pegawai sama ada laluan biasa ataupun spesialis hendaklah ditahan seketika. Sehinggalah ada keputusan daripada jawatankuasa tata tertib sama ada kes beliau ini perlu dibawa untuk kes tata tertib atau tidak. Sekiranya ada kes tata tertib pegawai akan di hold kenaikan pangkat. Sebagai contoh ke grade 52, dia akan di hold daripada dipertimbangkan ke grade 52 sehinggalah ada kes tata tertib dan selesai hukuman tata tertib. Kenaikan pangkat beliau hanya akan dipertimbangkan one day after selesai hukuman tata tertib. Clear? Manakala jika tidak ada kes, setelah dibawa kepada jawatankuasa tertib, jawatankuasa tertib mendapati bahawa tidak ada kes untuk pegawai dipertimbangkan hukuman tertib, maka kita akan boleh pertimbangkan balik kenaikan pangkat time base pegawai mengikut tarikh asal. Clear?
Yep, jelas.
Itu lain-lain syarat yang ditetapkan oleh lembaga. Manakala bagi syarat khusus, untuk syarat khusus bagi grade ke grade 54 sama ada kenaikan pakar ataupun non pakar, pertama sekali hendaklah mendapat pendaftaran penuh MMC first. Yang kedua, tamat posting ke-6. 6 posting. Itu mesti memenuhi syarat kedua itu. Itu ada syarat khusus. Manakala ke grade 56, ia hendaklah memenuhi tempoh 5 tahun perwataan at least. Termasuklah 5 tahun di grade 54. Itu adalah untuk kenaikan pangkat secara time base di laluan non pakar dan juga untuk specialist. Okey, itu untuk ke grade kumpulan PMP. Manakala satu lagi untuk ke grade yang lebih tinggi, itu sama ada grade khas C ataupun untuk grade di jawatan strategik utama C. Okey, untuk slide ni, boleh rujuk pada slide ni. Syarat umumnya adalah yang pertama sekali ialah seperti mana yang telah dinyatakan tadi, syarat-syarat sama seperti syarat di grade kumpulan PMP, sama ada untuk pakar perubatan ataupun untuk non pakar. Bagi untuk pakar perubatan, kenaikan pangkatnya adalah tertaluk kepada kekosongan jawatan pakar di grade tersebut. Pada masa ini kita ada 300 plus. Clear? Kita ada 300 plus jawatan grade khas C di KKM. Yang mana jawatan ini bukanlah tetap di mana-mana jawatan negeri ataupun hospital. Dia adalah berbentuk floating. Dia boleh berubah. Sekiranya pegawai ini berpindah ke hospital lain ataupun ke fasiliti lain, jawatan tersebut akan ikut pegawai tersebut sehingga pegawai tersebut resign atau naik pangkat ke grade seterusnya ataupun telah bersara. Clear Dan juga pegawai telah diwakilkan sebagai pakar perubatan untuk sekurang-kurangnya tempoh 6 tahun dan dilakukan oleh jawatankuasa. Ada dua sebenarnya untuk search committee di sini. Yang pertama adalah di peringkat program, sama ada program perubatan, kesihatan awam ataupun PNST. PNST ada 3 program. Manakala cadangan daripada ketiga-tiga program ini akan dipertimbangkan dan diperlakukan oleh search committee induk di peringkat kementerian yang mana dipengerusikan oleh KSU, Datuk KSU dan juga dianggotai oleh Tan Sri DG. Perakuan daripada jawatankuasa induk ini akan diangkat kepada lembaga kenaikan pangkat perkhidmatan awam DJPA yang dipengerusikan oleh KSN. Yang itu adalah final decision yang akan memutuskan sama ada pegawai berjaya ditawarkan atau tidak. Itu untuk jawatan pakar. Manakala bagi non-pakar, MO, saya ulang balik untuk pakar tadi, syarat untuk pakar adalah sekurang-kurangnya ia telah berada di grade 56. Itu syarat yang telah diminta oleh DG sebenarnya. Manakala bagi non-specialist untuk MO, pegawai tidak perlu berada di grade 56, memadai di grade 54, dia boleh diperlakukan mengisi mana-mana jawatan strategik di KKM, sama ada pengarah hospital, pengarah JKN, pengarah institusi atau pengarah bahagian di peringkat ibu pejabat KKM. Ini adalah syaratnya sama seperti mana syarat umum tadi. Manakala syarat-syarat khusus syarat-syarat khusus biasanya kita akan mengikut yang pertama sekali adalah kekananan pegawai di grade semasa 54 dan juga pengalaman pegawai sama ada pengalaman di peringkat negeri ataupun di peringkat ibu pejabat. Itu adalah antara kriteria-kriteria yang secara umumnya yang kita boleh share di sinilah. Okay, setakat ini. Thank you.
Okey, terima kasih Encik Wan Hilman. Just untuk ringkaskan semula yang kelayakan kan. So untuk time based promotion sebagai medical officer atau pakar sampai ke grade 56 time based, asalkan mereka dapat achieve yang kelayakan umum dan juga ikut yang time based dia, kalau ikut yang aliran pakar ataupun bukan pakar. Ya.
Okey.
Ini untuk yang time based.
Okay, ini aliran dia yang formula saya cakap tadi untuk sebagai contoh saya pakar 2, 3, 2, 2, 5 itu adalah jika smooth. Sekiranya pegawai ada terputus orang kata tempoh yang tidak berkelayakan. Sebagai contoh pegawai ada mengambil CTG katakan 3 tahun, maka 3 tahun tersebut akan ditambah. Pegawai tidak akan lagi menjadi 14 tahun untuk berada di grade 56. Dia mesti ditambah 3 tahun selepas kita mengambil kira tempoh yang tidak boleh diambil kira tadi. Dia ada pelbagai untuk bagi tempoh yang tidak boleh diambil kira ni sebagai contoh. Yang pertama sekali adalah CTG, cuti tanpa gaji. Yang ni akan ditolak akan ditolak. Cuti separuh gaji dan juga pelanjutan tempoh percubaan dengan denda. Ini adalah 3 perkara yang akan ditolak daripada formula tempoh time base. So jika pegawai ada terlibat dalam kes-kes yang 3 saya sebutkan tadi, maka tempoh kenaikan pangkat pegawai akan terjejas. Dia tidak akan jadi seperti mana formula tadi. Dia akan ada tambahan. Jika ada 3 tahun tempoh tidak melayakkan, so kita akan tambah 3 tahun. Jika 1 tahun, 1 tahun. Itu yang perkara yang boleh menjejaskan tempoh keseluruhan kenaikan pangkat pegawai di grade time base. Okey, boleh clear?
Okey, berkenaan dengan yang jawatan khas ataupun JUSA, so seperti yang Encik Wan Hilman nyatakan, untuk kekosongan jawatan, so jika ada doktor yang di dalam grade JUSA C ataupun B katakan, dan mereka pension ataupun mereka resign daripada servis, so maksudnya jawatan ni akan ada kekosongan. Dan during the next search committee meeting, ada kemungkinan doktor-doktor yang grade 56 yang baru boleh dinaikkan grade ataupun diberi promotion pada JUSA C. Ya, ini untuk yang mereka ada jawatan JUSA C lah kan? Kasi ya.
Ya, untuk spesialis sebagai contoh sebagai contoh pada tahun 2021 sebagai contoh berlaku kekosongan jawatan sebanyak 10 kekosongan jawatan untuk grade khas C berikutan pegawai yang resign atau bersara atau apa-apa atau pegawai naik pangkat ke grade khas B. Maka 10 jawatan ini akan kita dapatkan pandangan juga daripada side program. Itu side program lebih mengetahui sebenarnya dan mereka akan mencadangkan pegawai-pegawai tadi berdasarkan ada kriteria tertentu yang ada di peringkat program. Mereka akan cadangkan kepada search committee induk di peringkat KKM dan search committee induk ni akan meneliti, mempertimbangkan berdasarkan kriteria-kriteria seperti seniority dalam bidang saya cakap tadi, seniority dalam degrade semasa, sumbangan pegawai, pengalaman pegawai di dalam profession atau di peringkat bidang kepakaran dan sebagainya, dan 10 orang ini akan dipertimbangkan untuk mengisi sebagai ganti kepada kekosongan jawatan tadi. Kita tidak buat secara one by one, kita akan tunggu biasanya secara berkumpulan sama ada biasanya kita buat dalam tempoh 2 hingga 3 kali setahun.
Okey. Dan bagaimana pula, boleh terangkan sikit sebanyak tentang grade JUSA yang KUP, khas untuk penyandang?
Okey, untuk grade secara khas secara KUP, khas untuk penyandang ni, khas untuk penyandang ini, dulu kita kementerian pernah memperakukan ramai pegawai, pakar sama ada daripada klinikal, kesihatan awam, public health, FMS dan sebagainya, termasuk juga pakar pergigian. Pada waktu itu polisi kementerian, polisi kerajaan JPA pada masa itu masih membenarkan pertimbangan secara khas untuk KUP. Last kali saya ingat pada tahun 2017 atau 16 itu last yang kita dapat batch yang mendapat pertimbangan secara KUP. Cuma pada masa ini jika ada di kalangan pegawai-pegawai yang telah diperlakukan secara KUP tersebut bersara, resign ataupun letak jawatan sebagainya, maka jawatan tersebut tidak boleh kita perlakukan untuk sebagai ganti. Itu yang dimaklumkan oleh jawatankuasa lembaga kenaikan pangkat DJPA kepada kita, sebab jawatan secara kenaikan pangkat secara KUP adalah mengikut body penyandang. Dia bukannya jawatan yang boleh diisi secara ganti. Cuma pada masa ini walaupun kita cuba ada juga di peringkat program yang mencadangkan supaya digantikan pegawai yang telah bersara ataupun telah resign daripada pegawai yang KUP tadi, dan kemudian perlakukan kepada JPA, tetapi sejak daripada tahun 2017 tiada lagi pegawai yang diperlakukan oleh JPA kenaikan pangkat secara KUP. Itu adalah itu adalah polisi kerajaan pada masa ini. Cuma kita cubalah jika ada yang diperlakukan kita cuba, cuma itu adalah bidang kuasa di bawah LKPPA.
So sekiranya ada pegawai yang menyandang katakan jusa C untuk KUP, sekiranya mereka bersara ataupun resign from service, so jawatan tu akan turun pada hakiki and therefore tak akan ada pengganti lah, right?
Ya. Jika dia sebelum ni berada di grade Flexi sehingga 56 sebagai contoh dan pegawai tersebut telah diperlakukan secara KUP dan pegawai telah resign ataupun telah bersara, maka jawatan tersebut akan kembali kepada hakiki yang tadi, hakiki Flexi 56 tadi. Dia tidak kekal dengan KUPC.
Dan bagaimana pula untuk yang kenaikan pangkat daripada jusa HAS-C kepada jusa HAS-B? Kriteria dia sama juga ke seperti yang ditetapkan?
Ya. Untuk kriteria dia juga adalah lebih kurang sama. Dia lebih kepada lihat juga kepada senioriti pegawai dalam grade semasa dan juga di peringkat perwataan pegawai dan juga dalam bidang pegawai itu sendiri. Sebagai contoh bidang pediatrik ataupun kardio, biasanya program akan mencadangkan pegawai yang paling senior di kalangan bidang kardio tersebut, dan juga kemudian akan melihat juga dari segi tekanan ini dan perlakukan kepada JPA kekosongan tersebut. Itu jika kekosongan itu adalah kekosongan secara hakiki.
Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you, Encik Wan.
Thank you.
Next kita we have a question about perbezaan antara benefits of EPF and pension scheme. So can you explain to us what are the difference in benefits between choosing the EPF scheme and pension scheme while serving the government?
Okay, for this question kalau seseorang pegawai itu bersara dengan KWSP dia akan mendapat faedah dalam bentuk kewangan lah dan basically ini adalah caruman yang telah dibuat bergantung kepada berapa peratus caruman di bawah akta KWSP Caruman ini boleh berubah, namun pada masa ini kadarnya adalah 9% bagi pegawai dan 13% bagi majikan Bagi pegawai yang menolak skim KWSP, maknanya dia memilih pencen lah mereka akan layak dibayar ganjaran pencen bulanan yang dikira berdasarkan kepada gaji akhir dan tempoh perkhidmatan yang melayakkan serta wang tunai sebagai gantian cuti rehat ataupun kita panggil JCR Dari aspek kemudahan perubatan kedua-dua pesara dari skim tersebut sama ada EPF ataupun pension layak kemudahan perubatan percuma untuk pegawai ahli keluarga yang layak dan ibu bapa yang sah sekiranya mereka bersara pada umur persaraan.
Okay. So I think secara jelas kamu telah menyatakan bahawa kedua-dua pesara daripada skim EPF ataupun pension akan terima kemudahan medical benefits, kemudahan perubatan percuma kalau bersara tetap pada umur 60 tahun atau 56 tahun seperti yang dipilih. Untuk pesara dari skim EPF atau KWSP, jika mereka bersara tetap pada umur persaraan 56 or 60 years, adakah mereka akan eligible untuk gantian cuti rehat atau golden handshake?
Okey, kalau mereka yang memilih EPF ya, apabila mereka bersara pada umur persaraan ya, sekiranya dia memilih EPF atau KWSP, mereka akan layak GCR ya.
Soalan
Tak ada
seterusnya.
masalah, mereka akan layak GCR sekiranya mereka bersara pada umur persaraan. Okey.
Okey. Soalan seterusnya adalah jika seseorang pegawai itu telah memilih skim pension dan selepas itu ingin bertukar kepada skim KWSP, adakah mereka boleh bertukar? Dan jika mereka telah memilih KWSP pada permulaannya dan ingin bertukar kepada skim pension, adakah ini dibenarkan dan bagaimana mereka nak bertukar?
Okey. Pemilihan option sama ada nak teruskan dengan EPF ataupun pension hanyalah dibuat sekali sahaja ya, iaitu biasanya pada tahun ketiga ya seseorang pegawai itu berkhidmat. So option hanya sekali, sebab tu tak boleh muktamad lah, dan dia adalah muktamad tak ada pilihan kali seterusnya ya, kecuali kalau pegawai itu letak jawatan dan dia pergi berkhidmat di tempat lain, mungkin dia ada pilihan lah untuk pilih sama ada option skim pension ataupun KWSP.
So I think that answers the last question. The last question is somewhat similar. Yeah.
Cuma Dr. Sentil, just want to highlight ya, sekiranya seseorang itu pegawai perubatan ya, biasanya pegawai perubatan lah yang dia meletak jawatan dan dia pergi ke University Hospital ya, ni saya bagi contoh ya. Bila dia dilantik baru di University Hospital, biasanya dia akan diberi tempoh percubaan ya. So selepas daripada tempoh percubaan, dia akan buat sekali lagi lah, dia akan ada option sama ada nak pilih pension ataupun nak pilih EPF. Kalau sebelum dia sebelum tu dia berkhidmat di KKM, dia memilih skim pension. So bila dia pergi ke sana, sebaiknya dia pilih juga skim pension untuk dia bawa tempoh perkhidmatan pada akhir umur persaraan dia, sekiranya dia masih dekat University Hospital. Ya. So kadang-kadang seseorang tu tak ada siapa bagi tahu dan dia tak tahu. So kalau dia pilih, dulunya dia pilih skim pension, tapi tiba-tiba bila dia pergi di University Hospital dia pilih KWSP, dia tak boleh carry dia punya tempoh perkhidmatan dia yang dekat sebelum itu ya, sebelum dia meletak jawatan. Okey.
Tapi katakan when they move ministry daripada say Ministry of Health kepada Ministry of Education, dua-dua mereka pilih skim pension. That means the service years akan be carry forward lah.
Itu tak ada masalah. Ya, kalau dia pergi kepada Suruhanjaya yang berbeza, dia masih lagi Suruhanjaya dalam di mata awam, dia tak ada masalah. Dia itu kita panggil pelepasan jawatan lah. Okey.
Okey. Sini ada satu lagi soalan daripada seorang junior doctor. So I opted for scheme KWSP after completion of house officership without much knowledge or advice on the matter. I would now like to serve the government and revert back to a pension scheme. Is there any way I can do so?
Dah jawab tadi kan, option hanya sekali sahaja, tidak boleh
atau kena tukar ministry lah.
Tak boleh lah.
Okay. Seterusnya, am I eligible for early or optional retirement? What are the criteria and what are the benefits?
Okay. Kriteria untuk bersara awal ya, dia seperti mana yang tertera dalam skrin ya. Pertamanya, seseorang pegawai itu hendaklah telah disahkan dalam jawatannya, okay. Second, hendaklah telah diluluskan pemberian taraf berpencen, okay. Dan seterusnya, dia adalah mesti berumur 40 tahun dan ke atas pada tarikh persaraan pilihannya, okay. Dan seterusnya, dia hendaklah mempunyai tempoh perkhidmatan tidak kurang daripada 10 tahun yang boleh dimasuk kira, ya. So kalau dia ada cuti tanpa gaji atau dia ambil lebihan cuti dan sebagainya, hendaklah ditolak. Okey. Seterusnya disokong dan diperakukan oleh ketua jabatan dan hendaklah dikemukakan 3 bulan daripada tarikh persaraan pilihan itu. 3 bulan ialah tarikh daripada kita hantar kepada KUAP. Okey. So minimum 3 bulan. Sebab tu biasanya bila pegawai kita tanya, kita kata 6 bulan sebab apa? Kita kena hantar kepada ketua jabatan, kena tengok, lepas tu kena hantar pada ketua perkhidmatan DG ke ataupun KSU, dan baru kita hantar kepada KUAP. So dia akan ambil masa kat situ. So that's why we advise 6 months prior to your optional retirement, you have to send in the application. Okay. Dan the rest is inilah perlu kemukakan laporan tapisan SPRM dan sebagainya. That is normal procedure.
Okay, and if I'm under the EPF scheme, am I still eligible for early retirement?
Okay, under EPF scheme tidak ada konsep early retirement. Okay, early retirement hanya untuk mereka yang memilih skim pencen sahaja. So kalau seseorang pegawai tu pilih EPF, dia akan carry lah dia punya caruman EPF tu, majikan dan pekerja. Okay.
Let's ask the next one. Okay, one more question regarding doctors who are involved in escorting patient during transfers, in high-risk transfers, say helicopter rides like medevac, especially so in some of the rural areas, including Sabah, Sarawak. Any unforeseen death due to an accident during the journey when entitle the MOH employee's family to receive ex gratia or khairat kematian. So personal life insurance has a clause of non-payment if the death is due to high-risk activity without declaration to the insurance company, which includes helicopter rides. So can the Ministry of Health provide life insurance coverage for doctors involved in this high-risk patient escort?
Okey, kita tidak memberi individual insurance coverage kepada pegawai-pegawai Tapi walau bagaimanapun kita ada ex gratia lah ex gratia payment. Okey. Pegawai perkhidmatan awam I think there is a slide on that, isn't it? Okey. Pegawai perkhidmatan awam termasuk lantikan contract of service, okey, yang ditimpa kemalangan atau kecederaan semasa menjalankan tugas adalah layak menerima skim bayaran pampasan ex gratia. Okey. So, pegawai yang dilindungi di bawah skim bencana pekerjaan perkeso. Okey. Tadi saya kata layak kalau you contract ataupun you tetap, you layak ex gratia Walau bagaimanapun mereka yang di bawah skim bencana pekerjaan perkeso, okey, atau tidak layak dipertimbangkan faedah di bawah skim ini. So meaning which for the contract officers they are mereka perlu mencarum secara wajib kan dalam caruman perkeso. So mereka di cover oleh perkeso. Doesn't fall under this ex gratia. Okay. So kalau kita tengok bencana kerja, I think there will be the slide is later after this. Okay. Next slide. Not this one.
Actually, this is the last slide in our topics of today.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Kalau ikutkan bencana kerja adalah kemalangan yang berlaku di luar kawalan pegawai semasa menjalankan tugas rasmi. Okay. Okay. So, kemalangan yang berlaku pada bila-bila masa disebabkan oleh perbuatan anasir-anasir jahat seperti balas dendam dan sebagainya akibat tugas rasmi pegawai. Okay. So, itu adalah definisi bencana kerja lah So, liputan skim ex gratia adalah termasuk semasa perjalanan pergi dan balik dari tempat kediaman ke tempat bertugas semasa perjalanan ke mana-mana tempat untuk bertugas rasmi atau berkhusus so semasa waktu rehat rasmi atau waktu rehat yang dibenarkan. So adalah dia punya liputan-liputannya. Okey. So selain daripada skim ex gratia pegawai yang mendapat kecederaan semasa menjalankan tugas juga layak diberikan kemudahan cuti kecederaan secara bergaji penuh sebagai tambahan kepada cuti sakit. Okey, tempoh cuti kecederaan yang boleh diluluskan adalah bermula setelah cuti sakit habis digunakan sehingga ke tarikh pegawai akan pulih atau dibesarakan dari perkhidmatan atas sebab kesihatan. Maknanya cuti kecederaan is on top of cuti sakit yang sedia ada lah. So itu adalah untuk pegawai yang tetap manakala pegawai yang as I said just now, pegawai kontrak is fully covered under PERKESO.
Okay, and you mean sorry. Okay, so when you mean cuti kecederaan is adalah melebihi katakan melebihi cuti sakit yang dibenarkan. Is that all right? Adakah dia akan how will it affect the service of the individual involved?
Cuti kecederaan dia tidak memberikan kesan lah sebab cuti kecederaan adalah cuti yang bergaji penuh. So tak ada, dia tidak dia tidak affect tempoh yang melayakkan seseorang pegawai.
So dia bergantung kepada kecederaan yang dialami dan masa yang diambil untuk pulih.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to the next set of questions. We have a scenario here from a doctor. This is regarding the criteria for JUSA promotion. So we have Dr. X, who has been the state head of service for a certain specialty for the last 5 years. He or she has been in service for more than 20 years and has been providing subspecialty services in the state for close to 10 years. There are no other doctors in the state in that specialty with a JUSA post. What additional criteria or prerequisites needs to be fulfilled or met before this doctor can be considered for a JUSA post?
Ini untuk JUSA C ya?
Ya, JUSA C.
C. Okey. Kita boleh bayangkan pegawai tadi berada di state. Dia adalah head of the state kan, macam tu
Ya,
bagi bidang tersebut.
Negeri.
Ketua perkhidmatan bagi negeri tersebut. Okey. Untuk di peringkat kementerian, ibu pejabat, biasanya jawatankuasa naik pangkat akan lihat secara keseluruhan. Jawatankuasa tidak melihat state by state untuk ketua perkhidmatan tersebut. Cuma bagi by state ni adalah untuk pengarah JKN sahaja. Manakala bagi bidang-bidang tertentu sebagai contoh kardio ke atau pediatrik ke, kementerian akan melihat secara keseluruhan by full nation. Ketua perkhidmatan di peringkat kebangsaan itu adalah keutamaan. Sebab sekiranya dilihat by state, kemungkinan ada pegawai lain lagi di peringkat di negeri lain yang lebih senior dalam bidang tersebut ataupun di grade yang sama dengan pegawai. Itu adalah consideration daripada jawatankuasa kenaikan pangkat di peringkat kementerian. Kementerian akan melihat secara keseluruhan, tidak state by state.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay, it's clear that they will be assessed as on a nationwide approach compared to a state approach. Yeah. So katakan doktor ini feels that he is eligible even on a nationwide scale and feels that he has not been offered the post. What is the next thing that he can do?
Biasanya jika pegawai memohon direct kepada kita, kementerian ataupun urustia di peringkat kementerian akan merujuk terlebih dahulu kepada program. Ini Dr. Syahrul mungkin boleh respon sekejap lagi. Sebab program akan melihat secara keseluruhan by macro perspektif siapa yang lebih layak di kalangan pegawai dalam profession tersebut, dalam perkhidmatan tersebut. Biasanya kita akan minta ulasan ataupun pandangan terlebih dahulu daripada pihak program. Setelah itu barulah akan kita pertimbangkan di peringkat jawatankuasa induk di kementerian. Mungkin Dr. Syahrul boleh respon jika ada.
Yes, Dr. Syahrul.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Hari, Dr. Center. Good afternoon. Thanks again. Come back to session 3. Okay. for us in the program, actually we tabletop all the clinician. We look one batch by batch. For example, you are gazetted 2007, for example. I take all 2007. I look into which discipline we going to cadangkan untuk naik pangkat. We don't want to miss out batch by batch. For example, you are gazette in 2012, for example. But 2007, I not all got C yet. How I'm going to give you 2012 C? Sometimes it's very difficult. But there is a certain discipline. For example, you don't have people inside the discipline. For example, cardiothoracics. For example, I give probably the person that be a ketua jabatan in the state probably eligible to give C lah, if there is nobody in the discipline. But if you look every year, how many hundreds of them has been gazetted. The post to see if Hirman mentioned is not many. Probably less than 100, Hirman, eh?
Yeah,
every year.
about 20 or 30 something.
30 something is here. Jadi you all few hundreds is there. It's very, very difficult to select. Oh, I want this one, I want this one. But basically, we look into the years of gazettement. They don't have any tindakan tata tertib. They don't have the cuti tanpa gaji, that one. The list, the name is out there. We will send the list to Bahagian Sumber Manusia to look into. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sharom.
Next one. Yeah. So the next question. What are the requirements and restrictions for a government doctor to do locum work in a private clinic or hospital?
Okay. Actually, doctors, when they want to do a locum, one thing they must have their full registration. They must have the APC. Then they must ask from the ketua jabatan the kelulusan. These three you must give. If ketua jabatan not allow you to do a locum, when you do and get caught, you are difficult.
Okay, all right. So I suppose in addition to that, they will also require their in their APC, they must also list that particular medical facility as their practice, right? And
yeah, right.
I think now I think this we'll probably discuss with Dr. Arvin, our next speaker as well, regarding medical indemnity, because if they're doing work in a private center out of their government hospital, they will still require medical indemnity to cover them during their work in the private hospital as well, right?
Yeah. When the list, when you apply for the locum to the private, normally ketua jabatan will write down kelulusan. When you apply the APC, the name of the private hospital is inside your APC. That means that time you must buy your insurance, your indemnity yourself. If the list is not there, it's alright. Kalau the private clinic is inside the APC, you must buy yourself.
Okay. All right.
Only what we asking last time KSU to do, whoever come to our hospital, the indemnity covered by Ministry of Health. Because we appoint you like people like do a sessional helping us in the Ministry of Health.
Okay. So just to reiterate, so the Surat Kekeliling from KSU states that for government servants, we are indemnified by the government only for our services within government facilities and for government hospitals. If we are doing locum work, we will have to indemnify ourselves. Similarly, for those from the private sector who are doing sessionals in the government facilities, they will be indemnified by the government. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. This is about flexi hours for government specialists. What are the eligibility criteria for specialists to take off their flexi hours?
must look into the mention in the surat keliling KPK bilangan 10 tahun 2012 because the Flexi come out 2017 sorry. Garis panduan waktu kerja Flexi bagi pakar perubatan is grade 54 dan ke atas di Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. The generic criteria is must be Malaysian. Is before this because we don't have contract so many the criteria is permanent appointed officer performing well, free from discipline action, and the APC is there, still valid. Okay, the next a bit more specific, probably specialist grade UTD 44 and above, probably but so many of specialists, all they are grade UD 54. Has been gazetted as a specialist for at least 4 years, registered with NSR. Now, all our specialists last time not really concerned about NSR. Now, whoever already gazetted with the Ministry of Health, we want them to register with the NSR. They want to be a specific criteria for the flexi hours. Working in Ministry of Health at least 12 years, valid professional indemnity.
Sorry, working for Ministry of Health for at least
12 years.
12 years, okay.
Yeah, 12 years.
So I think as you mentioned, as you rightly mentioned, we have a lot of pakar today who are UD 54 when they come out.
Yeah.
So the additional criteria for flexi would be 4 years post-gazettement. 4 years in 54, is it you mentioned?
Yeah.
Okay.
4 years.
At least 12 years in service.
Yeah, 4 years after gazette.
Okay, 4 years post-gazettement.
As a specialist.
Okay. Okay, so for these flexi hours that these doctors take, they can either choose to do locum at private centers or conduct research or have the time off for themselves or sabbatical, to do their extracurricular activities or to do locum in private. So are there any criteria for them to practice in private centers during these flexi hours? Or is it the same as what we discussed previously, the APC, Indemnity, NSR?
Extra things, probably they want to do teaching.
Okay.
Probably teaching, when you to be a lecturer, probably you must have the normally the university want that lah. Our pakar to take the teaching exam. That one I'm not really sure, but to do teaching they must do that. The pakar also can take 1 day flexi to teach a student also at our hospital.
All right.
But,
so if it is for private practice in a private center, then it would still boil down to getting NSR registration, APC, indemnity, and approval for HOD. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Does applying for flexi hours require the HOD's approval?
If they want to do a flexi hours, they must prepare. Somebody must replace them at the level of hospital. They can go, but to do their job, somebody must be appointed to do their job.
Okay, one last question regarding this. As you mentioned, so if they are taking their flexi hours off, they should have a pengganti to cover them during their off hours. But say, for example, that particular specialist or subspecialist is the only one in the state, then can they be covered by their subordinates? For example, medical officers, or must it be a specialist? Like say, for example, if you only have one plastic surgeon or one neurosurgeon in the entire state, and this person takes time off for flexi, who would be the pengganti?
Yeah, if the hospital is a cluster, they can ask the specialist from the cluster hospital. Nowadays, most of our hospital clustered, big hospital clustered with a small hospital. During that time, if they really want to do their flexi hours, they must ask from help from their friend from the same cluster.
Okay. Same cluster, but they not necessarily be in the same, say, a urologist. cover you? Like, can be a general surgeon.
Not the same hospital lah, same cluster. You got few hospitals there.
But sometimes same cluster, but say you're the only urologist in the whole state. Only one urologist in the whole state. So cluster meaning there's nobody else who's a urologist in that cluster, you see. So can you get a...
You must ask the head of service. When you need somebody from other hospital to cover you, you must talk to the head of service.
Okay. So basically the pengganti must be a specialist and it cannot be a medical officer.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving on to the final question for Dr. Sharum. What are the eligibility criteria for government specialists to be involved in full paying patient scheme?
Yeah. Last time they built so many criteria, but normally the specialist is a bit senior, more than 5 years of the service in that hospital and that discipline. They can work in the full paying patient. Many of them, but many also don't want to do a full paying patient. I'm not sure that, tapi probably certain discipline more better to do full paying patient. Okay. But most of for example physician, not many of them to do a full paying patient.
Okay, right. And do they need to obtain medical indemnity, or will they be covered by MOH for doing FEP scheme in the hospital?
They're still working in the Ministry of Health. For the indemnity, the government will cover them. But for the sometime when the investigation done, but the mistake is totally on you, that you need to pay.
Okay.
You are for me. You need to do your indemnity yourself.
So would it be right for us to say that it would always be safer to indemnify yourself?
Yeah, if you pakar,
even in the government service.
Definitely.
Okay.
If you read the clause in the indemnity clause, they will mention that. Very difficult to translate because the law translation is there. Better you take your indemnity. If you are ONGs, for example, you orthopedic, for example, you perform many things with the operation, you better take your indemnity.
These are the higher risk categories. But I suppose the kind of indemnity that you'll obtain, say if you're doing an FPP scheme, would it be the scheme or the indemnity covering government hospitals? Would that be adequate?
So far, the government cover you. So far, the extra gratia will pay the whoever suing you. The government will pay you.
So in conclusion, full paying patient scheme is indemnified by the government, but on a case-to-case basis, if the doctor is found to be negligent, then this doctor may need to pay the compensation or the legal advice charges by himself or herself.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on to the next segment of our live dialogue session. Since the Medical Act 1971 was updated in 2017, professional indemnity cover is a compulsory requirement for medical practitioners prior to renewing the annual practicing certificate, or the APC, with the Malaysian Medical Council. How does this affect our practice, and what should we know? How do we deal with medical malpractice suits? Let's invite our next speaker, Dr. Arvindran Alaga, to clear our doubts on this topic. Dr. Arvind was the past chairman of National SCHOMOS 2019-2020 and is currently the Honorary Deputy Secretary of Malaysian Medical Association. He is also the Deputy Chairman of Majlis Bersama Kebangsaan Pengurusan dan Profesional, a national-level consultative platform for the civil sector, with MMA being the sole representative for the medical doctors in the country. let me just bring Dr. Arvin.
Hi,
Arvin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and Dr. Hari. Am I audible?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yep.
Okay. Well done to both of you. I mean, very good way of moderating the sessions. Need to learn from the expert way of moderating the sessions. Okay, I think the task given to me regarding, for today's forum is regarding medical indemnity. So first of all, we should know what's the definition of medical indemnity, or what is like a medical indemnity is about. It's actually a coverage specifically to protect medical practitioner for any claims or potential claim. It may be due to actual or alleged act of negligence relating to your day-to-day practice. The primary objective is to cover or pay any losses or damage due to this medical negligence. So that's actually practically protect a medical practitioner from a negligence or alleged negligence practice. So that's about medical indemnity. Then the next questions: I'm a government doctor. Do I need medical indemnity? Okay. So for those who are working in government healthcare facilities fully, if not doing locum in any private facilities, government will indemnify them based on Section 5, Act 359. This has been clarified in the letters from the KSC office dated 15 September 2017, and also a letter from KKM on 4th October 2019. So if you're not doing any private practice, government will fully indemnify you. It has been clarified in the letters. The details regarding the letter can be retrieved from our MMA SCHOMOS Facebook. However, they will not appoint any legal representative for regulatory issues or for preliminary investigation committee in MMC. So again, I strongly advise our government doctors to take your own medical indemnity insurance. For those who are working in private facilities, it is a compulsory for you to have your own medical indemnity insurance together with your HOD approval. So that's why we need medical indemnity insurance. Then next, when you should apply for medical indemnity. If you don't have any medical indemnity, I would advise you to go and get it as soon as possible. Usually it can be done together with your application for annual practicing certificate. And how? Okay, Malaysian Medical Association has endorsed two medical indemnity providers. One is MedDefend, another one is MPS. All the details about this particular medical indemnity insurance providers is available in our website. Please log into our website, and you can click the link and you can do it online, actually. So that's regarding the question regarding medical indemnity for government doctors: what, why, and when, and how.
So the next question we have here, Dr. Arvin, is
Yes.
I am involved in a potential medical, legal, or malpractice suit. Who should I contact? What to do and what not to do?
Okay. Okay, again, this is a very important, I would say, interesting question as well. Okay, first of all, if you involve in potential medical, legal, or malpractice suit, first of all, please contact your immediate supervisor. I would say your head of department, and also alert your pengarah of the respective hospital. So these two persons need to be informed about this particular issue. And second, verify the authenticity of the court or lawyer's letter from the lawyer or the court. Because sometimes we can receive the letter from anyone. So make sure the authenticity of that particular letter. And then escalate the issue to bahagian amalan perubatan cawangan medical legal. So this should be done, actually. Please do not ignore the moment you receive any letter. Try to be proactive. Try to find your head of department, talk to your pengarah, and then you can ask your cawangan medical legal at the state level. And then the most important thing, please make sure all your documents, please keep it safely and do not add or do not remove anything from there. Some people have a tendency to go and look into the medical documents, try to add on, try to scribble something, try to strike off. Please do not do anything. Make sure all the documents keep in safely, actually. And if you have a medical indemnity, normally like a MedDefend or MPS, they have a claim managers, specific claim managers. Normally they have a contact numbers. Please give them a call and they will put you through the lawyers so that they can give you a immediate expert advice, actually. So these are a few things you can do. So usually I would say like, please stay calm, think properly what's the next step, contact your immediate supervisors, contact your medical indemnity claim managers, and then it should go all well actually for you.
Earlier you mentioned that the government will not indemnify a government doctor if they are involved in regulatory issues or legal advice when they have regulatory issues or I think ethical issues if they are brought to the PIC under MMC. Can you give some examples when you mentioned
actually it's how to say it's like regulatory issues or like some ethical complaint, like say a bullying issue, people complain like harassment issues. So these particular issues go into MMC. Like say a patient can write a complaint letter regarding you for MMC and go to the preliminary investigation committee. Technically, government won't send any legal representative for that actually.
Okay.
So that, but is it any hearing in MMC is considered? I mean, it can, the serious consequences that you can be struck off from your register actually. So to face this, preferably you should have a proper medical legal consultation. Ideally, we can engage our own lawyer, but as we all know that lawyers will charge you like hundreds to thousands per hour. So this is where you need to invest certain money or certain portion of amount for your medical legal insurance. Indemnity providers will provide you assistance to how to handle these particular inquiries, including if you need a lawyer, they will provide you the lawyers as well. And also, medical indemnity also covers some amount of some aspect like Good Samaritan Act. Example, I can tell you like, if let's say you are helping someone in a road traffic accident, medical indemnity will cover you on that particular case as well. And sometimes even in a criminal case, technically if criminal case involved, the assistance will provide until you proven innocence. But if let's say it's depend on the insurance company, certain insurance company will provide you all the costs. Certain insurance company, if let's say you found to be guilty, you have to pay back the defense cost. So I would say like, please choose your indemnity insurance by going through all these details.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Arvind. That was very enlightening. We got to know a bit more about indemnity insurance for doctors in the government sector.
So just I would like to just highlight, if you notice the few top medical hazards due to medical legal issues are actually consent taking due to consent taking, improper consent taking, prescription, confidentiality, documentation and record keeping. These are the top causes due to our medical legal issues in our Malaysia actually. And if you notice year by year, actually the cases are going up in trend. So that's just for the information setting.
And these are always the things that we always keep harping to our junior doctors to be careful about. Consent taking, documentation, these are the common things that the medical pitfalls or medical legal pitfalls that we commonly encounter, right?
And now with social media, confidentiality.
Yes,
think twice before you post something.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you actually.
It's a matter of time before it bites back. So thank you, Dr. Arvind.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
All right, next up we have our MMA sales rep. Oh, sorry. Our SCHOMOS Honorary Assistant Secretary, Dr. Sivabala Selvaratnam, who's been with us all through the last 3 weeks, vouching for all our members to take up MMA membership. Welcome again, Dr. Siva.
Hi, Sindil and Hari. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yep.
Loud and clear?
Can you hear me clearly?
Yep. Loud and clear?
Loud and clear. Okay. I'm already beginning to feel like a sales rep. Is MMA selling shares for me to maybe buy into the association? There might be some small payback or returns on investment.
MMA does have a cooperative.
Corporate wing. Okay, I need to sign up for that because in the event we boom over the next 3 to 5 years, then I believe it'll be a good return on investment. How are you guys doing today?
Good, feeling good.
We're doing great.
Good, feeling good. We're doing great.
All right. So, what are the latest questions by those who have yet to sign up for MMA membership? Why the doubts? Why the hesitancy?
Before we move on to
the permission software,
Okay.
shall we have a quick poll among our viewers?
Sure.
How many of them are currently
MMA members?
Come on, guys. Log on to
Log on to
So go on to AHA slides and just key in whether are you currently an MMA member?
All right. Why the polls are going up?
Sure.
Can we have it? Okay. So 3/4 of our viewers today are MMA members, and a quarter are not. I hope it becomes 0 at the end of this forum.
I think very few of them are actually taking part in the AHA polls. Maybe where the rest of the audience? Go on to ahaslides.com/msvf. Log in, or you don't have to log in. Just key in the URL, and it'll straight away bring you to the polling platform. And just click your answers, yes or no. Simple as that.
Okay, Dr. Siva, let's look at the membership. Let's look at it from a different point of view. Let's talk about, instead of talking about the perks, let's talk about what MMA has done for its members all these years.
Okay. So, for those who have already seen those video slides, I personally believe that MMA has always spearheaded, especially SCHOMOS, has spearheaded the benefits for government doctors. As I mentioned in the previous session, 30 years ago, our seniors were doing on-calls for free. So that would be the first, I would think, big achievement of bringing in service on-call claims into government hospitals. Of course, it was a very small amount at that time, but two corrections later, two upgrades later, we are today getting about, 200 ringgit on-call allowance, correct, Sendil?
Yes, we're getting 200. But Dr. Siva, some doctors will say, that was 30 years ago, Dr. Siva. Can you tell me what we've done in the last 6 months?
Okay, last 6 months. Again, this for the guys like yourself in Sabah and Sarawak, I believe there's a new circular which has just come out very recently, acknowledging all the doctors' contributions who have been posted to Sabah, Sarawak, of course, the Federal Territory of Labuan, and there are allowances that recognizes your contribution as well as your sacrifice. I believe you would be able to tell us a bit more about that. It has just been passed on by the government.
Okay, Dr. Siva, you must be talking about the Bayaran Incentive Pakar Perubatan. Am I right?
Have we told the members about that?
Okay. So I have a guest who will be joining us to explain about how MMA brought about this Bayaran Incentive Pakar Perubatan for the public health physicians in Sabah, Sarawak, and Labuan. Let's have with us Dr. Greg. He will be able to tell us the chronology of events, how it started, how MMA worked towards it, and how it affected. Welcome, Dr. Greg.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sendil, Dr. Hari. I am audible and visible?
Loud and clear.
All right, great. So yeah, this is the first, the last 6 months you were saying, right? Well, this is one of the greatest achievement of MMA, and the story goes about this. Alawan BIPP, it was previously just given to only clinicians working in Sabah, Sarawak. It's an extra 1,000, 1,500 according to the grades, but it was not given to the public health medicine specialists. So it was highlighted to me back in 2017 by a non-member who is a public health specialist. So he was complaining that how come clinicians get extra money, but we don't get? We also work as hard, even though we are not in the hospital treating people, but we are still practicing medicine. Public health medicine is a known medical practice. It is a clinical science, but applied in a different manner in the community. So he was complaining to me about this. Then I said, okay, what did you all do? What did the fraternity do? What did the public health medical fraternity do about it? They said, yes, they went up to the government, they talked about it, but nothing worked out. It's so hard for them. Well, it's understood that it's hard for them because they are within the system. So if you're within the system, certain things are very hard to be implemented or to be brought forward because you're tied down by the rules and regulations of your own service itself. It's an arahan from the top. So if to go against the arahan is not very difficult. So who can fight for that particular right? You know it's wrong, but you're within the system, you can't do it. But MMA can do it on behalf of you because you are not part of the system. So what he told me that what can be done, I said, well, you can pass it down to me. I mean, you give me the documents, I bring it up to MMA, and we'll see how it goes. So, and you know, it just came from, I was in MMA Sariki at that time, and it was the youngest sub-branch of MMA Sarawak. It's a small town, but we do have a sub-branch there. There's a small committee there. And it is in this small, very town that even your voice can be heard still. And it's coming from a non-member. Then I asked him, just for curiosity's sake, I said, why don't you become a member? Then he told me, MMA, they just talk a lot only. They don't do much. I mean, the outcome is very slow, this and that. I said, okay, fine. You give it this to me and we see how it goes. Because you can't bring up this issue internally, then this has to be done externally. So give it to us. So I brought it out. We made some letters to the then SCHOMOS chairman. Then he went to MBK. Then slowly, meeting after meeting, time after time. People have to be patient. We can't do magic because there are rules and regulations. There is laws. There's so many SOPs. We live in yes, there is some bureaucracy. So you have to maneuver through all these things. It does take time. You cannot expect magic. But MMA is there to make sure your voices persevere. What problem you have? At 2017, we had this issue. They persevere taking on this issue. They make sure it's constantly heard. They constantly put it up. Sometimes the longer it takes, the more evidence you can gather. You have to be patient. And as you get more evidence, you hear more voices, it will carry more weight. So patience, perseverance, this is where MMA plays their role. They take your issue, they find the evidence, they persevere in bringing out this issue until we win. And 3 years down the road, 2020, 2021 is already 3.5, lebih kurang, about 3 years plus. You see the results. You already saw the results and we got it. Yes, it is not the perfect result, but there is something. It is from now, we won't stop. Yes, the results may not be perfect. This is what my previous boss who brought out this issue to me. I said, yeah, MMA has achieved something already. Now what? Now why don't you join? Okay. Then he went on complaining, this is not perfect. I said, come on lah. Even though it's not perfect, there is something. We can now claim that money, that allowance. Yes, there are some minor things, but why those minor things are there, we do not know yet. The government has other factors to consider that we do not understand yet. Now, from this on, from a new stepping ground, we will work further to iron it out, to see how it goes, how it is implemented, to ensure that the allowance that we are fighting for really comes to our hands. So it hanya dikuatkuasakan in March. So we'll see how it goes, how's the implementation phase, and MMA will continue to look into this matter. It's not that we win and then we forget about it. We'll still have to see whether it is being implemented correctly and that MMA will do it for you. You can't do it yourself. Members cannot do it for self. Members within the system, within the bureaucracy cannot do it themselves. MMA is there to fight for you guys. Only us, we all are outside the system. We can bring it up to you straight to the highest level. At the bottom level, sometimes within the hospital, within JKN, it's very hard to work. As if it is tied down to your bureaucratic rules and regulation. And you know, there's some, what do you call these things called, you may have this conflict of interest. When you are a boss and you got a terima arahan and you cannot do anything about it because you have to jalankan the arahan. But you know there's something wrong about it. Who's going to fight for you? Who's going to be your voice for you? It is MMA. And this BIPP allowance is a clear example on how we have been a voice to those voiceless members and non-members. And
Well
we have
said.
achieved. So back
Well
to
said.
you, Sendil and Hari.
Now, Sendil, because if you look at it, right, now this recent achievement that we've had on the BIPP allowance for the public health doctors in Sabah and Sarawak, now, how many of our doctors in the country are actually aware of the achievements?
Yep. I think those who are following us on Facebook would have known because we've posted. But shall we do a poll?
Yes, we shall. A quick one. So, those who are on AHA slides again, come, let's just key in as well. Let us know whether are you even aware of the successes of SCHOMOS? Because a lot of times, MMA SCHOMOS works behind the scenes. Maybe we have to improve on the way we promote or publicize our successes. You see, easily the numbers are 80% of them are not even aware that this was recently approved. And
I think one of the problems with MMA is we do a lot behind the scenes, but we don't talk about it.
Yep, maybe we should talk about it more often.
Maybe we should get more sales reps to go around and
because when your letters come out, it is KKM giving it to the members, not MMA, or MMA brought it out. KKM itself doesn't highlight all these things. So when they read that, it's KKM giving it to us.
Okay, and what about the also recent issue in the last few weeks where the contract doctors were now promoted to UD43 from the initial UD41? That's also another agenda that MMA SCHOMOS had actually pursued and successfully pursued. So how many doctors are actually aware of that as well? Because most of the circulars are letters from KKM. They will not state who's actually been at the background fighting for this agenda.
Of course, we have to thank Ministry of Health for agreeing with us in championing these issues. And of course, there are certain other issues that we are still championing. But in the recent 6 months, these are the two that we have achieved, namely the Bayaran Incentive Pakar Perubatan for Public Health Specialists and the UD43 grade harmonization for the contract medical officers. I think that's our big two wins the last 6 months.
Okay, with that, I thank Dr. Gregory and Dr. Siva. Thank you so much for coming on board. All right, we just play a quick video on some of the membership perks for joining MMA. And stay tuned because right after that, we'll move on to the live Q&A session. So don't go away.
Okay. Talking about events that MMA conducts for its members, just like this forum. We also have an MMA financial planning series, which is a series conducted by MMA for the financial literacy of our doctors. We basically want to empower our members and non-members who can attend this course, to empower them with financial knowledge to make informed decisions with regards to investing their hard-earned money, right? So for those who are attending and watching this now, we have a special promo code for you. You can visit https://mmafps.com, which is the official website for this event, right? And upon checkout, for members, use the promo code MSVF member, and for non-members, use the promo code MSVF non-member, and you will get a discount. This promo ends at 11:59 p.m. tonight. So make sure, if you are interested, to get on board and sign in today, right? So in this series, we'll be looking not only at income protection, we'll also be looking at income growing and income replacement. So for more information, log on to the website and get to know more.
And a quick introduction to one of the virtual runs for this year. MMA Negeri Sembilan is organizing the Fight COVID-19 virtual run. So the registration has already started and will go until 30th of April. And the timing of the run is from 7th of April to 7th of May. So during this time, you can run 5 kilometers or walk 7,500 steps, which isn't too bad. Okay. And capture it on your smartphone or Fitbit and send the screenshots to the email as on the poster above. And you'll be eligible for lucky draws and e-certs. And for those who have paid, will receive a dry fit jersey, a medal, and a goodie bag. So for more info, scan the QR code or click on the link and see us on Facebook, MMA Negeri Sembilan.
That's a very nice jersey, isn't it?
Yeah, one. Have you signed up, Sanil?
Yes, I have.
I've yet to. I will sign up soon.
Don't know if I can run though.
Okay. Now let's move on to the much-awaited live Q&A session. Please remember to log on to the AHA Slides platform and like the questions that you think need to be prioritized, and also send in questions you'd like us to address. So shall we start? Let's bring our team from BSM, BPP, back in.
Yep. Please remember, put your questions up on AHA Slides platform, not on the comments section. Okay. Just give us a moment. Okay, this will be to bahagian sumber manusia. I think Puan Noriza will be able to handle this. What is the criteria to apply for optional retirement? Does any authority within the service have the ultimate power to reject an application for optional retirement?
Okay. Okay. Just now we have already discussed about the criteria. Okay. So among the criteria is that kena disahkan dalam perkhidmatan, mencapai tahap. Okay. Oh sorry. Okay. Untuk bersara awal telah disahkan dalam jawatan, telah diluluskan pemberantaran berpencen, mestilah berumur 40 tahun ke atas, tempoh 10 tahun, perkhidmatan yang melayakkan, disokong oleh ketua jabatan ya. Okey, dalam hal ini ya, kita bukanlah kata ada kuasa veto ya, sebab setiap urusan optional retirement akan dibawa kepada ketua jabatan atau ketua perkhidmatan ya, dan kadang-kadang tu memang kita dapati bila dia memenuhi tempoh tu terus dikemukakan. Katalah baru je 40 tahun terus dikemukakan. So kemungkinannya dia akan dapat sedikit okey, tangguh dulu yang ni, okey, sebab kalau tidak dia akan menjejaskan perkhidmatan ya, especially for specialist lah ya. So sebab tu but it doesn't stop the candidates lah ataupun pegawai untuk mohon. So they can still mohon after that lah, walaupun tidak berlaku pada masa itu. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. There's no news about the leave that were unused in 2020 due to COVID. So, and because all the leaves are also frozen, can we get an update on this? And also for contract medical officers, can these leaves be carried forward?
Okay, biasanya untuk leave ni saya nampak sepatutnya tak ada masalah untuk di carry forward ataupun dimasukkan dalam GCR, ya. Even contract pun boleh carry forward ataupun masuk ke dalam GCR. But then for me to give a general statement, it's okay lah, okay, because memang boleh di carry forward ataupun masuk dalam GCR, ya. Tapi setiap orang tu dia kena refer kepada unit sumber manusia dia untuk lihat, ya, berapa bilangan leave yang ada. So biasanya at the end of the year kita akan isi borang berapa yang nak masuk dalam GCR, berapa yang nak kita carry forward. So kalau dia ada isu tentang perkara ni, dia kena refer kepada unit sumber manusia di tempat dia berkhidmat. Okay.
Thank you.
We have a question here from a contract medical officer. This is for bahagian perkembangan perubatan, Dr. Charum. Will contract medical officers be promoted like permanent MOs? What is the criteria to be promoted to UD 47 or UD 48? We can't hear you, Dr. Charum.
Now?
Yep. Now I do.
Okay. Actually, at the moment, currently, our MO contract is 2 years to do a khidmat wajib. Okay. If the lanjutan contract is not given to them, meaning there are no kenaikan pangkat. Actually, prior we do a transformational from a tetap to a contract. Before this, we already asking first phase what we want is tamat houseman lantik tetap. There are criteria before we discussed before. Second time is if they complete the khidmat wajib after 2 years, there are certain criteria again to choose them to lantik tetap. But at the moment, whatever yang we want to do, if the extension of the contract is not happening, we cannot say to appoint their tetap or not. But we currently developing a criteria for them to lantik tetap. If there is what we said, if the government give an extension of contract, then we come up with the criteria again lah. We try to support all our MOs lah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Charum. There's one other question. It's a bit too long to type and show it up here. It's regarding for government specialists who are doing say locum on flexi days or even on after hours in a private hospital. Say this specialist is in a subspecialty, and there's a recent requirement for renewal for private medical centers. There's a new update which says the private medical center needs to appoint a resident or an in-house subspecialty. Say for example, like say a urologist or a plastic surgeon, for example, who is a non-government doctor and who does not own their own private license and must list the private hospital as their primary practice in their APC in order for them to register that particular specialty in their hospital. But the problem is, in some of the states, they may not have that specialty available in the private hospital. So that government doctor might only be the only one providing service in that particular specialty. So how do they go about registering that specialty in the private hospital? Any exceptions can be made?
That one, I cannot answer that because I think CCAP will answer better in a private.
In that case, we
because
probably
every discipline they develop, they must write down to CCAP.
Okay, probably we can discuss further with CCAPs because in KKM's effort to encourage our specialists to stay on in government service, So one of the initiatives is to let them take the flexi day off. So if there can be provisions to facilitate this in the private hospital setting, then I think that'll be better. But thanks, Dr. Shahrul. Next question.
Okay, next question is back to criteria from UD 56 to JUSA-C promotion. So the question is, criteria for UD 56 to JUSA-C was mentioned earlier, tertakluk kepada kekosongan jawatan. Are these positions being reviewed as our population keeps growing? Which means as the population grows, are this jawatan also increasing? And are there any special circumstances like mentioned earlier? For example, for services that are provided in niche areas, can these doctors be given promotions expedited as compared to the probably earlier, since they will get it at a more junior phase of their service because of the niche area of service that they provide, maybe only 1 or 2 in the entire country?
You want me to answer?
Yes, Dr. Shahrul, please.
Okay. Like I mentioned before, we will look into a years of a gazettement. Okay, that one thing. But after we review all the names, then we look into the discipline. Which discipline are really like you mentioned lah, niche area lah. For example, urologists, cardiothoracics, plastic, onco. Probably I will review, sit down to look into whether this pakar can we give him earlier comparing the batch for example that year of gazettement, but he is later, and we do give our justification to the about this place to the committee, yang first committee in BSM. Always the committee dekat BSM tu dia akan send the list to GPA. Another step, nanti GPA will look lah. GPA always look at the seniority important. Okay. Sometimes our list, why this name is not come out? Like that lah. When I review back, why this list is not come out? Well, come out somebody else punya name. And that's why I think to promote 56 to JUSA-C, everybody want that promotion. But for me, the task yang very very difficult nak give to all the specialists. What I want to do is I want to do very transparent. I don't want to somebody give the name, put out the name. It's not right for me. I scared to do that. But if the committee want to choose seniority, let them choose. I cannot say anything. That's why sometimes come out the specialist call, why my name is not there. Sometimes very difficult. But when we look at the niche area, memang cardiothoracic, urologist, plastic, oncology, we look for them.
Okay. Dr. Shahrul, as you rightly mentioned earlier, JPA looks at seniority when giving this JUSA-C post, but there is a room for those with niche services provided. Say katakan they apply for the JUSA-C and JPA turns them down saying they are too junior, but they provide a niche area of service that probably only 1 or 2 in the entire country provide. Then what do they do? Can they write into Bahagian Perkembangan Perubatan, or should they write into the Jawatan Kuasa Induk? What would be the next?
Actually, we look back why the name is not come out. We like Encik Hilman mentioned just now, 2-3 times they do exercise to JUSA-C, JUSA-P, JUSA-E. I will put name again. I put the name again. I put top priority lah. If this time not come out, this time must come out.
Okay.
The GA will look lah. Oh, this name dah come out last time. Why they still send this name again? Because we want to give the niche area to get C first lah. We also JUSA-C ni like you want to retain a specialist with the Ministry of Health. They sometimes threaten us also. You did not give me a C, I will resign from the Ministry of Health. Yeah lah. On and off, I am so scared lah. We train specialists, then specialists out. train specialists out. Not you cannot get any adequate specialist. How many years you want to wait? Now also we about 50% field, another 50% we don't have. Many people, many specialists will resign and work with private.
I think
that's why the government also must look lah to give incentive to pakar, give them a bit earlier. Sometimes kita buat juga that letter to sumber manusia.
We hope that more jawatan will be given to these doctors because we don't want to lose them. It's a fine line between check and balance. It's a fine line before we lose these niche talents to the private sector, and it actually will affect the rakyat in the long run. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
If a government-sponsored doctor, say a JPA scholar, did not get continuation of the contract, are they released from the contract without paying back?
Puan Noriza, you are muted.
Yeah. Okay, this one I would suggest that the officer go to bahagian pembangunan modal insan JPA and discuss with the officers there, because the sponsors is by JPA, or even if they are sponsored by any other body, so they have to go back to the sponsorship lah. Okay.
All right, thank you. Just a moment, is looking through the list of questions. Just a second.
Okay, one of the questions here is it true that all promotions for JUSA are now on hold because of the reason that there is kekangan kewangan? If so, the posts from JPA which are given to KKM, is the money already locked in? Okay, the first part of the question is there no JUSA exercise at the moment because of the kekangan ekonomi kerajaan?
Actually, one exercise already come out, the result. Okay, now we sending another exercise. They continue. They not stop it. Because what I understand, government will look into whoever left the post is vacant. They must. What we want is the post is fill up as fast as possible.
So the exercise is still taking place as usual, all right? And is there a fixed number of working hours for specialists? Is it possible? Is there a possibility, instead of doing monetary claims for the hours spent, can we get replacement hours instead? Basically, this is
which one? You want money or you want the time?
Yeah, basically, looking forward in the future. I think the question asks that if we do on calls, can we claim money for it, or instead can we be given time off for the hours spent in the hospital? Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
For me, for the professional, you allowed to claim money when you on call. If you are not professional, you allowed to claim hours. Which one you want?
I think there's always two sides of the coin. Some might want the hours, some might want the money. So I think it's difficult to just satisfy everybody on this topic. And
okay. If you don't want to claim money, because last time we fighting to give on-call claim. We got already on-call claim. The fees also increase. They don't want to claim money. I scared later on government will take back the on-call allowance. Very, very scared also. Because not 100% of you only want the hours. Most of them need money.
Exactly. So this is something that we will need to discuss further and see what the majority wants before making decisions on how to go about this.
Yeah.
Next question is to Dr. Arvind. Is there COVID insurance provided by the government? Otherwise, are there any insurance that we could take to be covered for doing COVID-related duties?
I think Dr. Senthil, as far as I can recall correctly, I don't think so any COVID insurance specifically provided by government to the doctors. I mean, I think this particular question is they're asking if they say they get infected by COVID, and is there any insurance provided by the government? It's like same process. Like if you get any illness, you get treated in government facilities, is free of charge. Same, the principle applies throughout all the illnesses. And otherwise, are there any insurance that we could take and be covered for COVID? If I could remember correctly, based on the joint statement by LIAM, PIAM, and NTA, in general, pandemic-related risks are not covered under any insurance or takaful plans. It's not only in Malaysia, but worldwide. But I think I remember I read somewhere that certain insurance company are providing in exception, like you can claim up to 1,000 ringgit or hospitalization due to quarantine, something. I think it's better to check with individual insurance providers regarding the eligibility. But in generally, as far as I could remember, pandemic-related risks are not covered under LIAM or PIM. That was based on their joint statement recently somewhere in January 2021. So this, I think, hope this can answer the question.
All right, thank you, Dr. Arvind. Yes, I do realize that some major insurance companies also sent out some emails with the start of the pandemic saying that if you already have a policy with them, some of them do cover COVID. Yeah, so it's a case-to-case basis, but also to look at if you are from the high-risk group, like medical healthcare workers or frontliners, for example, would they still be covering? So I think these are things that will need to be discussed with the company that is providing the insurance.
But on the other hand, I think beginning of the COVID-19 season, I think somewhere last year, May to July, I think MMA have done this. From the MMA's Shopee fund, we allocated certain amount. Those frontliners will get infected with the COVID-19, they can apply for this particular fund. I think actually, but we have reimbursed certain individuals based on their applications actually. So I think it's a case-to-case actually.
So this was the MMA Shopee COVID fund.
Yes.
Which accumulated about R1 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. From that particular amount, we even allocated certain amount for the frontliners who are get affected by COVID-19. We gave them certain reimbursement.
So, okay, that's good to know that healthcare workers have been reimbursed. That fund was actually created for the healthcare workers dealing with this pandemic. Okay, with that, I'd like to say a big thank you to the team from Bahagian Sumber Manusia, Bahagian Perkembangan Perubatan, and Dr. Arvind for being with us today, spending your precious Sunday afternoon with us and healthcare workers throughout the nation. And also thank you for addressing all the burning questions that has been haunting our doctors. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now before we move on, just we are coming to the end of the show or the end of the forum. Okay, just like to let those who are interested in the MMA membership promo, just to let you know the eligibility criteria for those signing up for new life members or new ordinary members is as follow. And so those who are asking where is the proof of attendance, how do I sign my attendance? So please scan this QR code or access this link. Just a moment there. Yeah, it's actually at the bottom, right? So bit.ly/MSVF213, right? Now, so before we end, just a quick feedback from our audience. Please, once again, the last question for the day or for the forum, please describe to us how do you feel or how do you describe this forum in just 1 to 2 words. It's simple feedback just for us to improve ourselves.
It's basically us just checking how good you are with your adjectives.
Sendil, we have none, Sendil.
Oh my God.
Nobody's responding.
Have they all left?
But looks like we have achieved our objective of the forum. So I think everybody, because we've come to the end of the 3 sessions, right?
Excellent.
So, okay, good.
That's exactly what we want to hear.
But we want to know whether did this forum actually benefit you? So this is what we want to know, you see. So, and well, it's something we can consider in future as well, because now that we've gone mostly virtual, and we don't know, maybe this can be something that can be on an annual basis. And thank you to our teams from KKM as well for being very supportive and joining our forums, right, and being able to engage our audience and ask or answer the questions the burning question. So, yeah.
I think the teams that we've had over the last 3 weeks, they have been really, really sporting. The team from Ministry of Health, including our Minister of Health himself, they've all been very sporting and very, very supportive. Thank you to them. They are also partly the reason we have successfully been able to conduct this forum for 3 consecutive Sundays, right? As we approach the end of this exhilarating 3-episode forum, let me now invite the more handsome of the 2 moderators, Dr. Hari, who's the organizing chairman of this MMA SCHOMOS virtual forum, and also the chairman of SCHOMOS Sabah, to say a few words. Hari has spent sleepless nights organizing this course, this forum, right? So much time has been spent that he hasn't been spending enough time with his family, I think. Even his daughter asks me, why does Papa have meeting every weekend? So thank you, Hari, for all the blood, sweat, and tears you've shed in organizing this course. It would definitely not be possible without you. And you have ensured that this forum went on for the last 3 weeks without any hiccups. Thank you, Hari. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sendil. Very kind of you. Well, a very big thank you to our panel of speakers, especially to the Ministry of Health officials who joined us over the last 3 sessions for a very engaging live dialogue session. It was a great opportunity to clarify plenty of issues that our doctors on the ground are concerned with. And thank you to all of you, the viewers. We hope you enjoyed these sessions as much as we enjoyed moderating it. We certainly hope that you clarified or even learned something new about the topics that we have discussed. And we are glad that many of you have viewed the videos even after the live sessions have ended. We had about 20,000 views for the sessions 1 and 2 on YouTube as well as on Facebook after the sessions have ended. And a big shout out to the National SCHOMOS Exco and my organizing team from MMA Sabah, who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to put this forum together. And we apologize for any shortcomings or any technical issues, but you guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hari. With that, the inaugural MMA SCHOMOS Virtual Forum 2021 comes to a magnanimous end, and we hope to have more such interactive sessions with the Ministry of Health in the future. Till we meet again, stay safe and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye.